Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? It is Adam from Rescue Michigan with. Hold on, let me adjust my volume level a little bit. There we go. A somewhat impromptu middle of the week live stream, and we're gonna do something different tonight. I've got some things to get off my chest. A lot of things really been bugging me lately, but I am also working on another campaign piece, and I've been doing a lot of these lately. I do a lot of writing in general, and for those who don't know, like first off, I also write professionally for another political organization, so I'm doing like 3 or 4 email blasts for them every week. A lot of writing recently for my county Republican Party. We just finished this big, long, 8-page, huge 11 by 17 election mailer. We talked about that on the last couple streams, and man, there's a certain limit to how much one can write. Like it's really bugging me lately because I haven't been doing enough email blasts for rescue, and it's grating on me. I know we need to do one tomorrow for an action alert because of some of these elections bills that they're trying to ram through the House, which they just did ram through the Senate, by the way. But the other thing was, I really think we need to say and do more about two things that have happened very recently. One is the attempted assassination of Trump. The second one, which we talked about a little bit last Sunday, but just the more I think about, the angrier it makes me to see the media's reaction to it. Like, unconscionable that they are blaming Trump. They are blaming Trump. Trump gets shot at. They blame Trump. It's unfreaking believable. It's absolutely insane. It's disgusting. It's evil. These people should all be called out on it. And then the other thing that happened, by the way, in case you guys didn't know, it's a miracle we're all still alive right now because they almost provoked a nuclear war with Russia. They almost did that. Literally, the British Prime Minister flew to the United States to present to Joe Biden a list of targets they had in mind. And Biden, of all people, and they're blaming Jake Sullivan, by the way, but Biden, of all people, said no. And probably because, my camera's a little off center here, probably because Russia actually had to call them and say, hey, we will nuke you. We will nuke you if you actually commit active war against Russia. Like, that's what will happen. Like, they're probably like literally on the phone with Joe Biden. Hey, guess where our nuclear missiles will be hitting on, later this afternoon? Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, Scranton, Pennsylvania, Wilmington, Delaware, Rehoboth. Okay, good. All right, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. I mean, that's how close we actually were. They were talking about this. They were ready to do it. And Putin came out and just said, yeah, that would be an act of war. That would change everything. That would mean that the U.S. and Britain and NATO are at war with Russia. And we just ignored it. He's bluffing. Russians are just bluffing. And then, the Russian ambassador says that he's bluffing. The UN ambassador from Russia, he's just bluffing. Scott has been talking about this. No doubt there was a back channel communication going, no, we are not bluffing, guys. We literally, the orders have been given. There will be a nuclear exchange right now, if you authorize strikes on Russia. That would be an act of war. And it is an act of war. Everything we've been doing has been an act of war. And they're like, don't worry. We've crossed all of Russia's red lines and they haven't done anything, which is complete and utter bullshit, by the way, folks. Like, Russia never, ever said, yeah, using ATACMS, that's a red line. Never said it. Using HIMARS, that's a red line. They never said any of these things. They did say that bringing Ukraine into NATO would be a red line. And what they do, they invaded Ukraine. So I think they actually do sometimes enforce their red lines. But yeah. So anyway, it just is going to kind of put me in a cold rage thinking about the media, everything the media has been doing in the past week. At the same time as they're not reporting the almost nuclear holocaust we narrowly avoided, they're also blaming Trump for his own assassination attempts for coming from these Ukraine fanatics who they bred. But anyway, I guess I don't want to be ranting with you guys all night. Let me so here's what we're going to do. I'm working on another literature piece. This is one I'm working on for Rescue Michigan, but it's going to be something that people can print out, hand out in their own neighborhoods. You might have your other stuff. I'm sure you guys probably do. You probably have local GOP stuff. If not, you've certainly probably got Trump literature, things you can pass around. But I want to make something that people can just give out. Like, I want to give something out to my neighbors as a precinct delegate, like a closing argument. We've talked about closing arguments in the last couple of streams, and I did this, this big one for my county GOP. Well, I want to do something different, something a little bit simpler, something that can be printed on one page, and there will be a black and white version. It will be in color, but there will also be a black and white version. So if you want to print it out yourself on your own dime, you can do that. If you don't have a color printer or an offset printer or whatever, you can still, print it off from home, or just make it your own. Like, I've done these before where I'll release the source file. So if you want to change something, if there's any elements of it you don't like, you can use it. But I also think it's kind of fun. Well, we'll see how it goes. But hey, in the chat, I am watching the chat on Rumble and also on Facebook and YouTube. Not on X, unfortunately. X is not compatible. So if you guys are watching us on X, go to either our YouTube or Rumble or Facebook channel where you can leave comments. But I want your guys' live input, because what I'm going to basically be doing is working on a campaign piece. And I want to hear what you guys think about it, and the layout and the design and all that stuff. So I have started on it. But anyway, I said earlier, I've done a lot of writing lately for, various other clients and things. And I feel like there's only a certain limited amount of creative output one can have. Like, if there have been days I've gotten like 3 emails out, one for Rescue Michigan, one for my county GOP, one for Campaign for Liberty. But those days are rare. And I don't know if you guys have experience with writing, where sometimes it's absolutely agonizing to write a single paragraph, and there's other times when it just like you just in like 20 minutes write a whole page of stuff. And I've been working on this for maybe a day, maybe not. I say a day. I mean, a few hours within a day. But I thought let's do this as a collaboration, and we can talk about all kinds of things that we do when we're designing a literature piece. It's actually very complicated, the way you have to write for all different kinds of people, all different kinds of political backgrounds, all different kinds of reading styles. Some people scan, some people will read every word, but some people will just scan. So you've got to design something that's attractive to the eye, catches the curiosity of the reader, gets them to start reading, something that's going to be powerful. And there's all kinds of different things. We've done some streams where we've actually read and graded different political pieces. So, like, for example, I got this one on my desk today from, I should probably cover this address up here. Am I? Whatever. Anyway, this is a piece from the Michigan Freedom Network, probably the DeVosses, if I had to guess, attacking my state representative. So you can see what they've got as you can see there's a design element, and then there is a intellectual element, right? You see Democrat Attorney General Netzel accused the Democrat-led legislature of corruption. And then they put Reggie Miller there, even though that's not what the text says. And then here's side 2. Much more substance on here. Rep Reggie Miller chooses special interest and their money over Michigan families. Co-sponsored a bill that would allow her political allies to give virtually unlimited amounts of money to her own campaign. Notice the different elements of design they're using here. There is there's highlighting, there's bold, there's all caps going on. Different things to grab the eye, and of course, the thing that I hate, but I know is kind of necessary, the very, very small number of words. Voted to give money meant for Southeast Michigan schools to her political allies, instead supported major tax breaks for Chinese Communist Party linked companies. Self-serving, out of touch, wrong for Southeast Michigan. Red scary background. Yes, red scary background is right. That's really all the background is. It just kind of looks like a blurred newspaper with some blotching. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad design. In fact, actually, it's probably an effective design. I think, though, and we're going to look at this because I'm working on this piece. I've got something I'm working on, and you all are more than welcome to give me suggestions, recommendations as we go. But I thought, maybe a good way to break the writer's block and to, work on something is to work on it together and see what we come up with here. Andrea Lua on Rumble says, do you know anything about Axe My Tax? Something about being a proposal in the ballot to stop paying property taxes. Yes, it is an unfunded organization that will not achieve their goal of getting the property tax removal on the ballot. Put simply, they seem like nice people, but they don't have the money to get the signatures to get it done. And actually, even if they did, it'd probably actually end up being a net negative because it probably be defeated at the ballots. And even if it didn't, it actually give Gretchen Whitmer the ability to rewrite the state tax code. So probably a bad thing in general, but well-meaning people, I think. But yeah. Also, same person says there is an event on September 29th in Washington, D.C. Rescue the Republic. Do I know anything about this? I think I heard about this. But no, I don't know who they are really. I like their name. I hope maybe they were inspired by me. Let's see. Rescue the Republic. I'm going to look this up right now. September 29th. Let's see who this is. Jointheresistance.org. Here we go. I think we did look at this on a stream here. I'll bring this up on stream on the screen here. Hold on. This is their window. There's a movie. I'm not going to watch it. Join us at noon, September 29th. Our republic is under attack by a conglomerate of industrial complexes. It is time to rescue the republic. We need you to join the resistance. Together, we can restore the values that make a republic in the Western world so beautiful and worth preserving. Oh, boy. What is the West? Oh, boy. War is always the last resort versus military-industrial complex versus medical-industrial versus censorship versus... Okay, all right. Yeah, this all sounds... Okay, let's see. Oh, here they got the lineup is Brett Weinstein, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Russell Brand, and Tulsi Gabbard. Interesting. All Trump-supporting Democrats. Or at least Trump-supporting liberals. Let me ask you guys. How many of you guys have been going out knocking on doors? You think a trip to Washington, D.C. Is something that you can afford in your budget of time? Because I think events like this are very distracting, honestly. Anyway, okay. I don't know who this is or who's funding it. That's their lineup of speakers. Russell Brand, Brett Weinstein, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Tulsi Gabbard. That's nice. I'd rather go out knocking on doors. Who is this? About Us. RTR history. What started as Defeat the Mandates, a historic idea to bring together the world's leading COVID-19 dissidents. Yep, okay. Very, very conflicting. Because who talks about Western values? Liberals, really? Do liberals talk about Western values? No. The West. Who wants to be a part of the West? All right? Okay, so the West, right? U.S., Canada, Western Europe. Fuck Canada, fuck Western Europe. I'm embarrassed to be associated with those people. Those mongoloid, bloodthirsty, arrogant, conceited, racist pieces of garbage. Who wants to be associated with Britain, a fucking failed empire that still thinks they rule the planet? I'll tell you a funny story. I was at a Campaign for Liberty conference many, many years ago, back when they were just getting started, and one of their guest speakers, they had this big conference. This was like in 2009, maybe 2010. They had a bunch of these guest speakers. They had Judge Andrew Napolitano, who was awesome. They had Bruce Fine, who was awesome. And then they had this guy named Daniel Hannan, who was this British member of parliament, or maybe he was a member of the European Parliament. Daniel Hannan. And he was supposedly this like Ron Paul-ish type who was like kind of libertarian, kind of non-interventionist. And he gives this speech. And he's talking about how, well, actually, I really do think that the United States and Britain have a role in preserving in this Western security framework, and we're the people that keep peace in the world, and blah 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 blah. And anyway, so a little while later, me and this other guy, Anthony Gregory, who at the time was our writer for a lot of our blogs and stuff. Let me see if I can find Anthony Gregory online. But Anthony Gregory was just kind of a funny guy. Anthony Gregory, yeah, this is Anthony Gregory. American historian and author, published 2 books on civil liberties. There's a photo of him. This is Anthony Gregory. Okay, well, this is him here. Libertarian Papers editorial board. Anyway, me and Anthony Gregory were out smoking a cigarette after Hannon gave his speech, and Gregory just blew up over what a monster Daniel Hannon was. And I heard the speech, and I didn't think too much of it. I was like, yeah, whatever, who cares? He's a little off on this issue. He's like, yeah, right, America and Britain are leaders in peace in the world. What kind of crack is this guy smoking? And as he's saying this girl walks in. Turns out that was his daughter. So that was kind of funny. But now Daniel Hannon is actually one of the worst, nastiest neocons in Britain, who's like, yeah, let's kill every Ukrainian to defeat Russia. Just a nasty, vile, vulgar piece of human garbage. And Anthony Gregory had his number from day one. Yeah, these British people. Western values. Fuck Western values, guys. I mean, libertarian principles, the Constitution. Yeah, I get that. But the Western, that's not Western values. That is a certain particular brand of political thought strain that came in through Britain, admittedly. But if we just say Western values, good God, anyone should be embarrassed to be talking about Western values. And it's bizarre to see liberals talking about Western values. Anyway, Allegan News, did they make the November ballot? I without even looking it up, I promise you they did not. I promise you they didn't. All right. Anyway, let's get to the topic. Let's get to this piece I'm working on. Now, I will warn you in advance, right now it looks like a disaster. But that's how these things start. And we kind of build upon them as we go. Hey, Patty. Patty is joining us in the chat. Hey, Patty, if you want to hop on, hold on. I'll bring this back up in a second here. Let me email you the link. It's not the usual link. If you want to hop on and join me, I'd love to have someone come on and actually have someone to talk to. I love chat too, though. I really do want chat to weigh in as we go. I tried to get Scott McMahon to come on. He was interviewing Melissa Carone earlier today, and I wanted to follow up with him about that. But at first, I haven't gotten to catch a stream yet, but I was hoping he was going to tell me about it. But no such luck. So anyway, yeah, so we've got this flyer. And let me kind of give you guys the broad strokes here. I usually start out with something on a page. And what I wanted to really do is to do like the big contrast on the big issues. So I kind of threw together, and I'll just show you on a piece of paper. I just kind of scribbled this down. Peace versus war, prosperity versus poverty, and on the other side, liberty versus tyranny, justice versus crime, and I wrote abuse for some reason. I've got something else in mind. And you got to make some space for some other stuff too on the page. Your choice, Michigan, vote Republican. I wrote at the bottom of here. A little circular area for where maybe I'd leave a blank space for address because someone wants to mail something. Put a logo here, but I am not someone that does very well with ink and paper, put it that way. My handwriting's only gotten worse as an adult because I never write. I never need to write. I only type. But that's kind of what I was starting out with. Is okay. Let's do a 4-panel design, and those are the 4 big idea contrasts that we want to have: liberty versus tyranny, prosperity versus poverty, peace versus war, and what was the other one? Justice versus. So hard to find an antonym for justice that would work well. Injustice, that seems like cheating. So, and I the reason I wrote crime and abuse, I guess, is because there's like I can kind of see there's 2 topics I want to get into. One is Democrats are pro-crime, but the other is also Democrats are pro-injustice. They're all about legal abuses. I want to work something in about the Trump impeachment, all that stuff. But now, the other issue that you can probably see I'm running into, and by the way, this is the plan, is this is something that people can print out on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, is this is already a lot of text. And I haven't even started putting any text on the page yet, right? Because there's already 4 corners. There's already 4 topics on one side, plus something else. So how am I going to make this work. Now, with that, I will show you kind of where things have come to at this point, and let's talk about. Obviously, this is far, far from where we're going to end up, but this is side one. And now this has been made to be a full page. There's a 1/4-inch border that's going to have to be left white. And you can see I've only written in one of anything. I figured one thing that came to me was rather than how I had it laid out on this page here, where I had the good stuff on the top and the bad stuff on the bottom, I wanted to have the bad stuff on the left and the good stuff on the right. I'm thinking maybe also about playing with the colors, but well, let's talk about a few different things here. Let's talk about first of all what we have here right now and like what needs to be changed, because this is obviously just looking at this, and of course there's placeholders here. Shout outs to The Shining. There's a lot of Kubrick references in this stream recently. I think I had 2 Kubrick references on Sunday's stream. I did. We mentioned Dr. Strangelove, and we mentioned what was the other one? The Clockwork Orange. Anyway, those are just there to fill places. I was playing around with making the text line up with the splashy thing here, which I'm certainly open to working on. The way I like to design a piece is from general to particular. So this is like the most general is this page. And now I'm like starting to fill in details, and I'm starting to think, okay, I've got way too much text here. If this first box is the model, this is probably too much text. How can I cut this back? How much shorter can I put things in? But I'm also thinking about the layout and the text size. I did actually print off a copy just to see how the background would look and how big the font looks on a real page. So this is like what it looks like printed out. And you can see here, let me I'll remove the screen for a second so you can see. Because as it looks on the screen, the background looks really distracting. And there is a way to fade that out. The only reason to have a background is to make it something slightly more visually interesting. But then again, maybe this other piece had the right idea with you just have a background that's just kind of a bunch of color and noise. I might end up going with that. But I will show you. This is a printed off version of it, and you can see the background's not very intrusive, not very distracting, and it could always be whitened. So that is a possibility. But anyway, yeah, Heather says, let me know if you need help. That's why I did the stream, Heather. Please help me right now. Tell us in the chat what we should do to fix things up with, or how to fix things up. But the reason I'm doing this is kind of to lay out my whole narrative thought process, and then actually work on this for a bit. Maybe not for the whole night, maybe not get the entire thing finished, but just to show you kind of in general. And again, like I might not end up with this slash at the end. I might change this to be more visually different. But I'm at the point now where I'm making decisions about the creative stuff. In particular, replacing all work and no play makes Jack into a boy with like the actual text that's going to go on here, and figuring out whether or not, how much can I cut back versus how much should I cut back. And I will tell you, every single political operative, every single political expert will tell you, don't write a lot of stuff. Keep it short. Like, keep it like this. No more than this. A couple of sentences. Don't write paragraphs. I can also tell you, I have seen and proven that in the right set of circumstances, that narrative can be defeated. But lazy consultants don't want to write a lot of copy. They want to do short stuff. And so they're all happy to say, we've done testing and the short stuff beats the long stuff. The long stuff often fails. And a lot of unprofessionally made grassroots pieces often fail because they put too much text on the page. But I will say this, if done in just a certain way that grabs the reader's attention and doesn't alienate them through bad copy, long text can work. It just has to be in a certain way. I got a special guest coming on. How you doing? Thank you for joining me.
No problem.
It was an unplanned work session stream. So
yeah, I saw the notice earlier And
Yeah.
then at 6, Warren had a meeting.
Oh, how'd that go?
It was good. It was really good. Yeah. 2
Was
LDRs. It sure is, Gups. Yep.
what were they talking about this Mike Bishop business?
No. It was the weekly meeting. We're trying to encourage everyone with for the Super Saturdays. And Dominic Restucia spoke at the beginning about election integrity. And they're gonna have Shane was on. Shane spoke about recruiting election inspectors and
Okay, good.
challengers. So and then they talked a little bit about who so far has volunteered. I'd meant to do that and I didn't, but I probably still could, I guess, for helping with the Super Saturdays and learning how to get more into GOP data center and learning the data and the walkbooks and how to set up WinRed and just all this kind of stuff. So it was like Lawless, Mindy Teets, like all the usual viewers here, are all
Cool.
part of that core team. So, and then they went over a little bit about data and how people are doing on their Trump Force 47 stuff. And they just switched the universe on that. So that's,
Oh, yeah.
so they're going to cut everybody a new book. And so, there's a lot going on.
Yeah. Yeah, there absolutely is a ton of stuff going on.
And I don't know who's watching, but they're
Well,
feeling good. They're feeling good with the internal polling. Let's just say that.
Well, that's certainly nice, but obviously we have to run like we're 10 points behind no matter what.
Exactly.
So.
Yep, for sure.
So anyway, I've got this wall of text here.
Yeah, I see.
I was just
it looks
talking
like you got in trouble at the chalkboard and you had to come up and write the statement like Bart Simpson.
Yeah. Well, I use it as a placeholder because you know how they usually a lot of times you'll see if you see any mock websites, they'll have this bunch of gibberish like lorem ipsum blah blah blah, and I just did that because what I was trying to do was
excuse me,
one of the things that's important is the layout and spacing and making sure that everything doesn't look visually out of whack.
Yep.
So I was starting to lay the placeholder text just to see if the sizing was right and working the margins. You can see I've got work to do to make this line up with the separator there, which I just thought having a separator that's in a slash shape is better than if it was just 4 squares.
Yeah, that's interesting actually. And it's up and to the right, like it's a positive trend. It's a good visual.
Yeah, Heather says layout is everything. Yeah, absolutely it is. And one of the things they teach you is that you gotta write for both kinds of people, the people who will read every word versus the people who will just scan, so you can see I'm kind of going, and some of these things have just not been fleshed out at all yet. But the basic idea is you've got war versus peace, poverty versus prosperity, and the other side is going to have the other side, which is even less done, is crime versus justice, tyranny versus liberty. And to mirror it, there's parallelism is important. So if you have 2 things on one side, have 2 things on the other. So I thought opposite of tyranny is liberty. But I also want to talk about corruption, and therefore I also want to talk about honor, because that'll really get the liberals pissed off because they think Trump is a scuzzbag. And
right. So is honor one of those 7 words we learned in that training?
No, you mean one of those values that liberals don't have?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Don't.
But anyway, we'll do one side at a time here. So let me first read you what I got. And by the way, so the printed out piece, the font is not cumbersomely small. In fact, it's probably actually straight up 12 point. So I did have that when I printed it out here. It does actually look okay. It's not hard to read. It's not that small. It's larger than newsprint. But even this, whenever I do a piece, every little element, you try to make it work for everybody. So we have the picture here. The picture obviously is a Ukrainian cemetery. We're just covered in Ukrainian flags of all the people that have been killed. Soldier with the amputations, obviously. And then here's the word for this: war, devastation, and chaos. After sabotaging peace talks in April 2022, which, of course, former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson was the point man on that, but there's no way he didn't do that without leave from the United States. The Biden-Harris regime directed Ukraine to fight the bloodiest war in the 21st century. causing over 500,000 Ukrainian losses, destroying the country, destroying American stockpiles, and destroying America's reputation in the world. I like that parallelism: destroying the country, destroying American stockpiles, and destroying America's reputation in the world. Heather's a great point. I suggest an Afghanistan pick there too. Well, okay, but how do I mean, what would be the picture though? Like, do we have a photo of like when they were clinging to the airplane that was taking off? I want to work that in. Although also I'm already my worry is I've already gotten too much text in here. I'm already squeezed. So then I wrote, we now face a real threat of global nuclear war, a new war in the Middle East, and China becoming dominant. This last part of the sentence, this is bad parallelism, because we go from having a noun clause to another noun clause to is that called a gerund verb? I think maybe China becoming dominant. That should be made like a noun. Like let me see here. How do I change this? Yes, default the selection. All right. Maybe a new war in the Middle East and maybe Chinese domination. I feel like that's almost wrong though too. That doesn't sound, well, it's not spelled right either. But also that sounds a little hyperbolic. What am I looking for? What am I trying to say here? We now face a real threat of global nuclear war, a new war in the Middle East, and maybe and a rising China. I don't know. Feel free to help me out, chat. Hey Shane, I see you there in the chat too. Real threat of global nuclear war, new war in the Middle East, and one of the other things about China in particular is China is
say something about the decline of Western values or something, like, you know what I mean, or the loss of our Western whatever.
Yeah, Heather says Chinese dominance. I think, and Patty, I think you're right to make that point. But also I think, you know, having this parallelism of these three military geopolitical threats: nuclear war with Russia, Middle East, China, and I wish it could fit in Afghanistan too. But also I think that this is already pushing it really hard as far as space goes. Kamala Harris, and this is my favorite part, Kamala Harris has no clue how to handle the chaos her administration created. And that, I think, in fact, I want to make that bold, because that is the kill shot right there. This is, oh shoot. Well, how do I make that fit without doing it that way? I know how to do this. By the way, if those who are wondering, I'm using an absolutely ancient program called PaintShop, JASC PaintShop Pro 9, which came out like 13 some years ago. And it actually, the company got bought by Corel after this, and they therefore like kind of rebranded under a new company, and the software just got very different, and I still like the old one, so I just stick with this one. There we go. We used the text outline, and now it's in bold. Kamala Harris has no, and again, this is what I think is what the most important thing to convey to voters is Kamala Harris is not cut out for handling the challenges that she herself, not really, but Biden, but she's part of Biden's administration. They've made these messes, and they can't clean them up. Yeah, Heather says I use her phone. I use my phone talking about. Is that a reference, Heather? Is that a reference to some explosive pagers? Is that what you're getting at there? Anyway, all right. So now the question is, if all four of these panels have as much text as that one does, is this going to be a problem? One possibility, I think, is that the text in the right-hand columns, the happy pro-Trump ones, are bigger. Because I think they need to say less, right? Like the piece you're saying, in 4 years, Trump was the first president who never started a major conflict, and who actually, he actually helped rebuild our military. and prevented enemies of America from trying anything. You know, like that doesn't sound like it would take as much to say as this does. Like, I would cut this one back if I could, but I don't know if I want to cut anything off here. I am questioning also this citation of 500,000 Ukrainian losses, which is, I'm sure, correct, but the United States claims no, they haven't lost that many people. No. But I think the people that might be impacted by this are not going to be too concerned about like looking up the numbers. By the way, I can turn off the backgrounds for now if those are distracting for people. They're really only there to make the piece slightly more visually interesting. They show up lighter on the page than they do on the screen, but they might be distracting, so I'll just take them out for now. I also think, like on this one on the upper left-hand corner, the background is actually, you can't really tell because it's so hard to see. Well, it is actually a photo of Gaza. But, you know, one thing that might be better for this, I think, might be just using this same photo, just washed out, whitened, grayed, lightened, so it's not intrusive. But if you were to squint and look, you could tell it's just the same photo again. Like that's what's going on over here. It's the same photo. You got, here's Trump with the troops all happy and applauding, and then here's in the background is a bigger photo of that. So Alligan News says, yes, we live in a TikTok world to get to point in 15 to 20 seconds of reading max. Yes, but I would also say that if your piece is good enough, people will read it. And that's the idea, is to try to grab them. And if they only see a part of it, that might be okay too. Heather says black and white might work too. There will absolutely, definitely be a black and white version of this because I think people are going to want to be able to print it out from their home laser jets. Randy says, just have Heather do it. It'll be perfect. Hey, Heather is more than welcome to take a crack at this. I'll be happy to, with her permission, post her flyers on our site as well, right next to this one. But anyway, let's work on some copy. Let's do something here. All right, let's get rid of this all work and no play crap. This is garbage. I will keep it on just because. Here, let me do this. I'm going to share the full screen rather than the image. That way, I think the overlay will show up better. So if I click on this, can you guys see my window now? Yeah, there you go. Okay, there's my text editing window. So, Randy says Heather didn't mean to volunteer you. No, not a problem at all, Randy. Not for me anyway. All right. So I think the first point to make right from the get-go is President Trump was the first president since Ronald Reagan. Shout outs to Reagan. That didn't start a major conflict. And I could put a period there. Or I could say something about the American boys that were lost in so many of these conflicts.
What is yours, Heather? Heather, can you email me your voter guide? I'm looking for an example because I have all my data done, but I have to design it.
I'll email you mine too, Patty, unless you don't like it. But we're getting
I need something that I can text to people that they can have on their phone and go in and vote. It's got to be easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
There goes. Next year I'm doing MD classes. There you go. We're getting our voter guides tomorrow. I can't believe. Yeah, she says hers is a booklet. Yeah, ours is a little booklet too.
No, too much. Yeah, we're keeping it simple.
Well, you can always take parts of it, you know, or like just do the sample ballot piece. Alga News says, still say use AI to help with copy. Keep at the 5th grade reading level. I really have not experimented with this, Alga News. My friend Sal Randazzo swears by it, and he beat a local charter amendment with AI. Like they generated copy that he says was fantastic. But I don't think I trust AI to do something. I mean, maybe AI would help with the skeletal stuff, but when it comes to like the little details, that's where I would be worried about AI. Like because it's just thinking like what sounds good at a 5th, like as you say, 5th grade level. AI can write something at a 5th grade level. but can AI write something that's going to grab someone's attention and make them read the whole thing, even though they weren't planning to? I don't know. I'm willing to experiment. If you have any suggestions, what do you use for AI? Chat GPT, or let me know. Let me know, Elegant News, who you've tried using for content generation. But so far, everything that Rescue has done, except for our thumbnails, has not been any kind of AI. Anyway, I'm leaning toward, I said this earlier, making all this bigger and less, making this, and so I think a period at the end of that sentence is the way to go. So let's leave this all work and no play crap. Let's make all this bigger, and that's going to screw up the margins, but that's okay. Let's say 48 point versus 36. See what that does. Boy, that almost matches. What's this one? 72. Okay, so it's not quite that big. And now, I'm going to ignore the spacing for the time being. Figure that all out later. Move this over. Oh shoot, I forgot. I actually did line this up so that, like, these little things, folks, making sure that there's the exact same number of pixels between this line and the top of that D versus the bottom of that D and the top of this line. Those details do matter, but I had that here. I lost it.
Can you just undo?
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm not sure how this program handles it when you change the font size. Like, that would have been the thing that does it. See, now I did that and I just lost the text I wrote. So it's okay. I'll figure it all out.
Write the text. Now I got the formatting.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what I'll do is
I use Canva. It's a lot easier.
Well, so you say, but
So you say.
I'm going to find, I mean, I'm sure there's things that can do much better than this.
This is one step above DOS, basically, what you're using right now.
Yeah, it basically is. But it's what I know. And I know Adobe can do all the things that this does. Okay, this time I'm making sure to keep the size at 651. But the thing is, it's what I'm comfortable with. But also, the other thing is, I like the fact that I know how to make sure every pixel is exactly where it should be.
Yeah.
Like
I gotta go get a beverage. I'll be right back.
Go ahead.
Okay.
That's what I end up doing with that document that the county GOP brochure. Our chair originally drafted that in Microsoft Office, and ended up basically having to redo the entire thing in this software, just because that way I'd be able to make sure that all of the spacing was exactly where it needed to be. 651. Okay, I think that's the margin I want. There we go. So now I can put the line break there. That should be who, I think. Or maybe first president. First president, that I think is actually probably right, but I don't like it. First president, not to start a major conflict. President Trump, rebuild our military with an America First agenda, renegotiated disastrous trade deals like NAFTA, the TPP, ... All right, let's stop here, because first off, I'm going off on a tangent, but I'm not sure I have more to say about this. He didn't start a war. Like, what else is there to say?
Maybe it's that simple. Maybe.
Well, I mean, now that okay, so I just started talking about NAFTA and the TPP, which is a different thing.
That should be growth and prosperity, right?
It could be that too. Although there might be more to say there, and again, character limits. But the other thing too is that was also negotiating with hostile foreign powers. So, maybe, yeah, Algan says you have to manually wrap the texture on images. I know.
Abraham Accords. Yep. Did you write that?
What's that?
The Abraham Accords.
Oh, yes, that's a great point. Yep.
Thank you, Dan.
Perfect. Well, I was almost going to write settled the conflicts in the Middle East with the Abraham Accords, but of course they absolutely did not.
Make sure you put Jared Kushner.
Yeah, let's not. Let's think. Took decisive action. Okay, here's how I say something that I don't 100% like, but I want to say something that works.
NATO
Took decisive action to I'm trying to get at is to intimidate our enemies into taking action. But the problem is I don't want to say intimidate. Decisive action to discourage. Maybe prevent. Maybe prevent is the word. Although it doesn't fit, but it will once I move it to the left because of the.
It doesn't fit.
The slashing issue, though, this can move left a little bit. That T will just fit.
You could thin the slash a little bit, but it is a good scale, though. Yeah,
prevent America's enemies from initiating conflict. Okay, and now we're hitting the image, so does need a line break there. Now, this is a reference to the Soleimani assassination, which, for the record, I don't approve of. But, it's a good point to make. He assassinated Soleimani, and suddenly Iran got really quiet. Yeah, I like. Well, see, this one I don't know about this. This might cross the line for me because NATO does not need to be encouraged. First president with North Korea directly seeking peace. This is true, although it didn't work out because his administration sabotaged him in the long run. So, North Korea, he left Kim Jong-un feeling all warm and fuzzy, and then John Bolton just immediately sabotaged everything and threw it all in the garbage. And that, well, we might touch on the administration being sabotaged from within, but I think maybe the Abraham Accords is a good angle. I think we should mention that. Let's say, I would say he negotiated the historic Abraham Accords. It is a plural, right? Abraham Accords. Yeah.
Abraham Accords, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
Dan
says, convince Kim Jong-un to voluntarily cease nuclear and long-range missile tests. True. For about a week, but still.
Yeah.
I do like that, though. Maybe I do want to work that in. Got John to laugh that he called Kim Rocket Man. Yeah. Heather Dow, you should be on this live. Heather, I'll send you the link. Let me share if I've got your email. Hold on, let me see. Whoa, email on screen. That's not good. That's okay.
Amateur.
Well, I went full screen because I wanted people to see the text entry box, okay? I don't have Heather Dow's email. Do you have Heather Dow's email address, Patty?
I don't think I do.
Okay. Heather, if you... Oh, boy. How do you send it to us?
Hang on.
I've got it somewhere. Let me do some digging. Heather, I don't know if you want to expose your email address to the planet by putting it in the chat, but you can email me at adam@rescuemichigan.com, and I'll respond to it with the link. How about that?
Matt probably has it.
adam@rescuemichigan.com. Okay, forward it to Matt. Maybe he'll join us. Who knows? Anyway,
he can't design shit.
Matt can't design shit. Okay.
I'm always editing his stuff too.
We all have our own gifts, and we all have our own.
True. That is true.
All right. He negotiated the historic Abraham Accords. What are we talking about again? Oh, Kim, she says we'll just chat here. Fair enough.
Okay.
Kept Russia from invading Ukraine. See, I know that's what Trump says. I'm not sure I fully believe it. I also don't know that I should care about that. Kept Russia from invading Ukraine. It is a fact. Russia took no action in Ukraine while Trump was president. Trump negotiated the historic Abraham Accords, and we're running out of space now. So I think this is where we start to wrap it up. And brought the world closer to peace, which doesn't fit, so we got to cut something. Let me also now fix the horizontal nature of this, at least a little bit. Why is it 835? There we go. And then I got to indent. And then indent some more. Well, I'll be able to get those exactly right later on. But for the time being, that makes things line up pretty okay. It says I literally use my phone to make these. I have small hands. Wow. That is amazing, Heather. Again, I'm sure technology would make a lot of things I do easier.
What app do you use, Heather?
But I cannot use a phone. I can't use a laptop, let alone a phone for anything. I'm not at my battle station here with like 3 huge monitors. I can't do. I'm helpless. Anyway, that's not entirely true. I can use my laptop, but he says
Canva
all my memes are made on Canva with my phone. There you go, Canva.
Canva again, 2 for Canva. Me and
the Canva guys.
The expert,
Okay.
Heather Dow. That's right.
Well, if you end up being able to recreate exactly the flyer that I end up with here on Canva, then I'll be impressed, because I think there's at least some things that probably don't go that easily. But what do I know? I could be completely wrong about that. Anyway, either way, this is the system I know, so this is the system I use. It boils down to that, I suppose. All right. Now this actually does kind of fit okay. Let's read this again. President Trump was the first president since Ronald Reagan not to start a major conflict. President Trump took decisive action to prevent America's enemies from initiating conflict. I don't like how I used the word conflict twice there. Looks cool on the right. Yeah. Russia took no action in Ukraine while Trump was president. Okay, you guys can keep on plugging Canva all you like. I get it. But I mean, like I said, there's like going to be little variables, you know, like, oh, she can drag and snap, but okay, but maybe I want to make sure that
drag and snap. I drag and snap in PowerPoint. I got to learn.
Well, but like, okay, like I want to make sure, for instance, I want this bottom line to have exactly the same horizontal space between the top of this B and this slash versus the period and that image right there. Like that's how I'm going to make the margins exactly where I want them to be. I'm going to end up lining up all these to the pixel. So yeah. All right, we're going to stop arguing about Canva right now. Canva's a nudge button. Yeah, fine. Okay. All right. Things I wish this said that it still doesn't is rebuilding the military. Although I've only ever heard that said very vaguely. So maybe that's okay. Initiating conflict is, I don't think that's very good. Even to start a major conflict should be to start a war.
Yeah, conflict, be more direct. Yep.
Yeah.
Or any war, not just a major war. Right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna put my feet up.
President Trump was the first president to start a war. Maybe not say President Trump a second time, or should I? You like to think past the sale notion of saying President Trump, but we also say it twice in a row in 2 sentences. I think it's okay to say Trump here. Trump took this.
President Trump was the first president since Reagan. That's redundant.
Yeah, but still, it's his title.
Yeah.
Took decisive action to prevent America's enemies from about committing any.
Is this going to be a door knocking flyer, or what are you doing with
Acts of aggression? I'm thinking a handout piece that could also be put out at the doors, 8.5 by 11 size. So, and there's going to be a black and white version. So if folks want to print them at home on a laser printer, they can do that too.
Mm.
Okay, that sounds good. Trump took decisive action to prevent America's enemies from committing any acts of aggression.
Aggression has 2 G's.
Yes, sorry, there was somehow an extra E got in there, and I missed the G. Russia took no action. Can I share it on social media? I can upload this when it's done, certainly. So it'll be a PNG when it's done.
It'll be 2, won't it? It's 2-sided?
Yeah, front and back, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're going to make a digital out of it, couldn't you just somehow make it like 1? So you don't have...
You can save it as a PDF, for example. In fact, sometimes my printer wants me to do that, so I can do that also. But PDFs don't share well on social media anyway.
No. So, I'm saying you just, like in Canva, you can take 2 pictures and make them 1 and then save them as a new PNG.
As a single file. Yeah, that's easy to do. Sure, I can do that too.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you think this dinosaur program couldn't do that? Come on. All right. Anyway, Trump took decisive action to prevent America's enemies from committing any acts of aggression. This sentence takes up a lot of space and doesn't say much that the last one doesn't. So I wonder if that's not if there isn't something better to talk about there. There's such a pattern, you put our heads together. Yeah, and you can do it in Canva. Sure. Let's see, what else did people suggest here? Kim Jong-un, NATO,
Iran sanctions.
Well, see, this actually in a very roundabout way mentions, the assassination of Soleimani, which, barbaric though it was, worked. So I don't know. Maybe the thing. Oh, I got an idea. Hold on. I need to grab a hyphen. I got to a different program to grab a hyphen. That's an email I did the other day for Campaign for Liberty.
What? There's no hyphen?
Well, there's a hyphen character, but a hyphen and a dash are 2 different things. I meant a dash. So a hyphen. Look. So here you see there's a hyphen.
Oh goodness.
That's a hyphen character, but that's a dash. It's longer, which is better. So you need to use a dash. And okay, here we go. It switched the font because of that. Let me fix that. What font's we're in Arial. You guys think about the font. Is Arial the font we really want to use? Maybe it's not. Anyway, okay. And under Trump, no enemy of America started a war either. Bam. Except it doesn't quite fit in the line. But apart from that, under Trump, no enemy of America started any wars either. Maybe just make it 2 lines. It's actually good when you have a hanging line where you have like just a word and there's an extra paragraph break. White space is good. And I feel like, especially because of that top left section, More white space is different. Heather says I can condense with a different font. Maybe, but sometimes those don't. Sometimes it doesn't help. Like Times New Roman is just kind of a generally smaller font, but. And actually, speaking of that, maybe a serif font is better. I used Merriweather for the voter guide. Let's see how Merriweather looks. Bigger, that's for sure. But it is a true fact that when reading lines of text, like not just headlines, but like lines of text, serif fonts, serif refers to the feet. You see how, like here, the P has a little foot at the bottom of the letter P, whereas Arial doesn't. Or let me see another example. Let me zoom in so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. Okay, so here, this is the example. This is a serif font, which means they have feet. You see the I, the N, the T, the H, the I, they all have feet. Sans serif, like Arial, does not have the feet. There's no foot on the bottom of the R or the bottom of the H, the way there is on these. That's the distinction. Anyway, it is a truism that serifed fonts make lines easier to read because those feet guide the eye along the line. Heather says Anton is skinny. Let me see if I have Anton. Hold on. I may not have it. I do have Anton. Let's see what Anton looks like. Anton. Oh, it is skinny, but it's also bold and memey. Looks like Impact. I use Impact for my thumbnails. Also, the proportions on the F and the I look kind of funny. I don't know if I'm a fan of Anton. Let's go back to what I was saying. We were using Merriweather. Merriweather. What do you think? Merriweather, Times New Roman. Times is way smaller, but thinner. Merriweather. Let's try Merriweather again. I am liking Merriweather. And this is smaller, but it doesn't look any smaller. Like, look at this line here versus this line here. This looks bigger. So I think if I make this, what was the other one? 40. Okay, shrink this down to 40 points. Okay. And now let me get back to what my train of thought was earlier about this. Actually, now this all somehow magically this all fits. President Trump was the first president since Ronald Reagan not to start a war. And under Trump, no enemy of America started any wars. Maybe that's even better if I can fit it. No, I can't fit it. Bummer. Started any wars either, I was going to say. Actually, maybe that will work. If I push the either down. And then, well, hold on. Let's see what I can do with the rest of this to make it. If I need to cut stuff back to make it fit, then maybe this won't work. But let's see. Okay, but I feel like with this addition at the top, which actually I think this should even be maybe italicized or underlined. That's another thing we could do. We don't do enough of yet. I mean, we're using bold. We haven't used anything else. Maybe underline there. No enemy of America started any wars either. I like that. And then now a lot of this is now redundant. So like we can take a lot of this out. Heather says Cooper Hewitt. What is Cooper Hewitt? Let's see what Cooper Hewitt looks like. I don't have Cooper Hewitt. Let me go on a website and see what Cooper Hewitt looks like. Oh, that's interesting. Well, that's the thin version book. It does look good. I just download this whole thing. Download. Free for commercial use. Cool. All right, let me not show you guys the details of my computer here as I download this. Install for all users. All right. Now let me see. I think I could be wrong about this. I'm going to save it just to do that. This program's so old it doesn't autosave. That's its main fault right there.
That's the main fault.
Cooper Hewitt doesn't. No, I have to reopen the thing to see Cooper Hewitt. It does look good though. I will try it. But is that a sans serif? It is a sans serif font, so that is a shortcoming. I'm looking for a serif font. But anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, we're talking about peace through strength. Let's see here.
So what you're doing, sans on the left and serif on the right?
No, I'm going to change the other one too. Yeah, these will all be consistent, but right now I'm working on the copy on the right. But yeah, I think here we can. Let's see what happens if I change this all to Merriweather. I mean, it's going to need some tweaking, but that's okay. See, that makes it bigger, but then I can go up to 30 maybe. Let's see here. 32. How are we looking here? 32 looks about right. And then just the spaces must be smaller. So I'll make the spacing bigger. Oh yeah, there's way more spaces. See, that's where you save that's where you make your font tighter as you save on spacing. All right, here we go. Kamala has no clue how to handle the chaos her administration created. That's a winning line right there, folks. Let's take away one of these spaces. All right. Anyway, where were we? Okay, so that looks good now. Oh yeah, let's make the backgrounds go bye-bye and make it a little easier to read. For now, let's put them back in later. Where were we? Okay, President Trump. Actually, I want the backgrounds back on, but I'll make them fainter. There we go. That's better. This is like a Bob Ross episode, except we're talking about nuclear war and, and also I'm not a very good artist. All right. You just kind of put a happy little Trump here and all right, so here's what we were doing. We were cutting this, so all this stuff I think is more or less extraneous now because that bit about no enemy of America starting any wars either, that kind of shuts down the Russia topic. Yeah, it's like we just kind of already said all this stuff now. So now what else do we push? Do we put in here? See, now I kind of do think maybe we should say something about NATO. Because, you know what? Before Trump, the other countries were all freeloaders. And now they're not. Yeah, Heather's enjoying this stream. Well, this is we're geeking out here, folks. And for those who don't like geeky stuff, well, so be it. But this is how the sausage is made in politics. Someone put a lot of time, or maybe not put too much time. Maybe use Canvas, so they got done really fast. Put some time to this, these. So we gotta think about the words. I mean, this mailing we did, we spent $40,000 on this mailing. This is like 2 years of fundraising for the county party that we put into our voter guide. So, you want to put in the time to make it good.
Who did it go to?
Huh?
Every Door Direct. What'd you guys do?
63,000 households in the county, based on selection of being likely voter in a big range, like not completely inactive voters, not completely hardcore Republicans or Democrats, but pretty much everybody who might possibly be anywhere in the swing, anywhere in the turnout. And we cast a slightly even broader net in certain targeted districts where we really want to win. So I don't go into too much more detail than that, just because,
Yeah. Oh,
Democrats might watch this stream. So,
Yeah, they probably are.
But we cast a pretty wide net. So anyway. So where were we? Okay, so what else are we going to talk about here? I think you should say President Trump again now, because you did say under Trump. before President Trump forced, what's a good word for European countries? Derelict, quisling, forced
Freeloading.
our NATO allies to stop reloading on American. Here's what I want to say, but it's not going to fit, and pay their fair share. Reloading on American largesse and pay their fair share, but doesn't quite fit.
Well, nobody knows what largesse is.
I hate that though. I hate losing good words to stupid
It's
people.
not fifth grade reading, whatever.
I know.
Just say stop freeloading and pay their fair share. You don't have to say on American.
American charity, though. On American taxpayers. Can I squeeze it in? I can squeeze it in barely if I use a hyphen. But I don't know. Well, hold on. We can also okay, brought fits in there. Well, that doesn't do us any good at all. Dan Kafila says commit to their obligations. That takes up more space, though. We need fewer characters somehow.
Yeah. I would just say stop freeloading and pay their fair share. Or freeloading off Americans.
The my only concern is I don't, fifth grade, how old do people know what NATO is? And then we're talking about military stuff. Pay their fair share of what? Pay their fair share
of dues. What is
stop
it?
Reloading on our weapons or our defense industry.
It's actually money, isn't it? It's not weapons. It's actually money, isn't it?
Well, it's money too. Yeah, it's all these things. Dan says fair share sounds like a Democrat talking point. Yeah, but it's also still
Trump's a Democrat up until 10 years ago.
That's not fair. And I also don't think it's I don't think Democrats get to just lay claim to a phrase just because. Yeah, see, here's what we don't want to do. Numbers and abbreviations. That's what we don't want to do. Not going there. Force the NATO allies to stop freeloading and okay, if there's a line break here.
Pay their fair share by stopping freeloading.
Well, but I don't want the essence of the sentence to get pulled away from the center. Like, here's what it is. Stop freeloading is the middle. I know what you say.
And pay their fair share to stop paying their fair share. Like, it's confusing. Then just pay their fair share out. Stop freeloading. Boom.
But I think that's too vague. What about stop freeloading?
I don't know what the word count you're going for is, but
it just has to fit. But I think stop freeloading on our defenses and pay their fair share. Does that work?
Nope.
What's the problem?
On our defenses? What does that even mean?
Well, you're right. Defenses is not the right word. But stop freeloading on our weapons?
No, because that's money too.
Stop freeloading on our military. That works. Stop freeloading on our military and pay their fair share. Bingo. Ship it. All right. No, seriously, let's read this through. President Trump was the first president since Ronald Reagan not to start a war. And under Trump, no enemy of America started any wars either. President Trump forced our NATO allies to stop freeloading on our military and pay their fair share. Trump negotiated the historic Abraham Accords and brought the world closer to peace. I think that's nice. Short declarative sentences. We got good verbs here. Start a war, freeloading.
Do you want to put a
Forced.
space after fair share?
Huh?
Before Abraham Accords, should that be a space? Trump negotiated the historic. There should be a space in between those two sentences.
Share and Trump?
Yes.
There's a line break there.
There should be see how you have all that white space above? It should be 3 paragraphs, not 2.
Oh, 3 paragraphs. Yeah, I see. Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Like that. Well, I have to I have to squeeze it down, but
well, the other one, you squeeze those 2 up. Does that look like you have 2 lines in between the other ones?
Yeah, what I can do is make the font size on the line in between smaller. So if I knock
make it like
40.
6 or something. Yeah.
That one, it says it is 40, 36, 32. There we go. That fits. I mean, there might be some minor, well, the line spacing I can work out off stream. There's no need for us to go through all that. But yeah, I think that's solid. And I think that's easy to read. I mean, this is now big. Like, well, I don't know how big the screen is you folks are watching this on, but on my screen, that's basically real size. And it's totally legible. So I think that's pretty good. All right, now inflation and poverty. And by the way, this little square here, that was for my spacing on the text boxes. So let me do this. I will take this and I'll copy it and make another one of it and put it where it's supposed to go and line it up. So let's see here. This is where I do the height alignments. So what are we looking at here? Another pixel or 2. Did I get it? 1 over. Dan says no mention of the wall. What, the border wall? We've got a side 2 to this piece, Dan. We got side 2 is going to talk about crime. And yeah, well, there will be more. So the idea is that this is like war and peace, poverty, prosperity. The other side is going to be tyranny versus liberty and crime versus justice. So yeah, we've got space to work with yet, but one issue at a time here. So anyway, so first let's see, what I say, I got 1 pixel to go here. Or no, am I on it? 1 pixel down. There we go. And now, let's see here. Okay, I got to move it over a bit. So let's see, where am I at now? I'm at 1843. Come on. Come on. There we go. All right, and now delete the text because we don't need any of this stuff. That's all from the other one. And all work and no play. Whatever. All right, what are we going to say here? Inflation and poverty. I feel like the thing to do here, I can get rid of this little box now. The pitfall here would be to start throwing numbers at people and talking about like how bad inflation is when everybody knows how bad it is.
I mean, just say, how's your grocery bill? How's your, you know what I mean? It's kind of generic.
This is a little far to the left. Move it over just a little bit more. Okay. I would say something like this. This is a good way to do an affirmation tactic, which is that we all know blah blah blah. But did you know blah blah blah? And then you're like stacking something on top of the original affirmation. So you can see every American family knows that grocery, gas, what else we say? Hardware? I don't know. I feel the pain at the Home Depot, that's for sure. Grocery prices, gas prices, and the price, what we can say, energy bills, electric bills, really. What am I doing on space here? Electric bills. Just about everything else. Have skyrocketed since the Biden-Harris administration took office. Took, that's a good verb for that. They took office. But what I was going for is, do you know that the interest of the national debt has doubled in the last 2.5 years? And most of our costs of government is just paying interest on their debts. I think that's the way to go. But first, I also want to say more, but I want to hit on inflation harder. Like, that's a thing you just pound the shit out of them on. It's not just the price of goods, the value of the dollar, our life savings was looted in the Biden-Harris regimes. What's the next word I'm looking for? The Biden-Harris regimes.
Incompetence?
Yeah, but something that connotes more of a
malfeasance,
wastefulness, extravagance, something along those lines. But those words aren't right either. Sorry for the dead air, folks, but this is how we think of things. Feel free to help out.
You're gonna go. I'm getting sleepy.
You don't have to be here all night. I'm not going to be here all night either. I'll probably quit by like 9 at the latest.
Okay.
Work on this off stream some more, but I think we're making progress here, guys. We got a whole panel done, and another panel got kind of made better. So I mean, we could do more tomorrow. Keep doing these streams till I finish this off. I don't know. No, tomorrow I'm picking up my flyers, so I can't wait for that. Let's see here. Our life savings was looted. I also think this is in the passive voice. That's a problem too. So maybe we should fix this. The Biden
Harris regime looted.
now I'm hitting the slash here, so I'm wondering if there's another thing I want to say instead. In their lust for extravagant spending,
and their lust for equity.
yeah. The Biden Harris regime devalued and essentially looted our life savings, something like that. But that's warmer, but not quite right. Their lust for extravagant. Lust is not right. I like the word lust, but it doesn't fit. But it's something like that we wanted to say. Something that implies a compulsion, a mania, a need. Come on, guys. Help me out here. In there, Dan says gusto. I don't think so, Dan. In their gusto for extravagant spending. Thank you, though. I do appreciate it. Please. I'm not trying to intimidate folks in the chat from submitting their suggestions, but I don't think gusto is the right word we're looking for here. In their
Power hungry big head.
You guys got the thorsopen.com. Is that what's going on here? That's what's happening. Let's see in there.
PHBH.
In there. Richard, that's the word we're replacing. That's the word. Let's see.
Hey, these are my Drew and Mike people, okay?
In there.
Fervor.
Fervor, I do like fervor. In there. Insatiable fervor, maybe. Is insatiable not a 5th grade word? In their insatiable need for, maybe extravagant isn't good. Government spending or special interest spending.
Spending other people's money.
Shit says I'm watching the Tigers too. Hey, fair enough. I'd be multitasking if I was watching my stream right now.
Sorry. Third person.
In their insatiable greed. Also, I think maybe we should underline the value of the dollar. Must either apply or cancel. Okay, I guess I will apply, Paint Shop. I will apply, and then I will save, and then I will reopen. In there, insatiable. Let's see. The value of the. Oh yeah, I was going to underline. That's what I meant to do, and then it told me I had to apply the text. Underline. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Maybe the Biden-Harris regime has
Why has?
Huh?
Why has? Why not just the active verb?
Yeah, maybe. Effectively looted our life savings. Maybe here is where we go for, oh yeah, the dash. In their insatiable need for more spending. Why'd the font freak out there all of a sudden? What's going on with that? 32, Merriweather.
Also the dash.
Yeah, the dash did that somehow. There we go. Every American family knows that grocery prices, gas prices, electric bills, and just about everything else have skyrocketed. That doesn't work because, well, maybe it does. Grocery prices have skyrocketed. Gas prices have skyrocketed. Electric bills have skyrocketed. But everything else, the price of just about the, and yeah, it's missing. It's missing something. And the price or the cost? Price. I maybe cost. The cost of just about everything else. Grocery prices, gas prices, electric bills, and the cost of just about everything.
Should be cost has, not have. So that doesn't work. Costs have. Costs.
Yeah, because it's also a list of A, B, C, and D. But yeah, you're right. I think the cost of just about everything else has skyrocketed since the Biden-Harris regime effectively looted our life savings and their insatiable need for more spending. I like that. I think that's pretty solid right there.
To fill their insatiable need, to feed their insatiable need. I don't know.
Yeah, I like that. Yes, you're right. To feed. By the way, for those who don't know, the most important words in the sentences are the verbs. So feed is an excellent verb. Feed their insatiable need for more spending. I like it. All right. Now what? We still got half a panel left. Biden-Harris regime effectively looted our life savings to feed their insatiable need for more spending. Oh, there's no photo here. We need a picture. So the background is obviously that's photos from Detroit, which contrasts with the photo of Grand Rapids over there on the other side panel. We don't have to use that, but what else would be what's a good picture for inflation and poverty? I do think we want a photo there or something.
A grocery bill?
Yeah, or a gas pump with a price on it.
Yeah.
I think that would work. Let me find a gas pump image someplace here. Gas pump inflation price. Let's see what that does for us. Images.
That one on the right looks good. 489, 509. Oh, that one too. Depends if you want red or yellow. There's that other one.
Which one? Oh, this one here?
No, right above that.
Oh, this one.
What's that? $240 to fill up?
No, $24 for 11. Oh, wait. Yeah, no.
Oh, 24 gallons for $120. That's kind of
for $120. Yeah, that's what that says.
I like that one because it gives that total price, right?
Yeah, although people in Michigan, I mean, those are probably California prices, but not Michigan prices.
Yeah, did we ever get that high? We're not that. I filled up today at Costco for under $3 for 87.
You got Costco gas for $2.99 a gallon?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
$2.97, I think.
Yeah, well then I
mean, time they had to drop the price.
Well, yeah, that's what they always do. Although I thought Biden pretty well looted the
reserve,
the petroleum reserve to get prices down. I'm surprised there's still anything left to squeeze into. Yeah, I like this one, but I think it's going to backfire if people see prices that are not what they're experiencing.
Yeah. So maybe don't go with gas because gas has come down, but groceries haven't. I would maybe look for groceries. That's too high.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Oh yeah, how about the Biden? I did that sticker. Remember? I did that.
Yeah, I've seen those on gas pumps. They're awesome.
Yeah. That was Dan's idea. He's scared to type in the chat now because
Oh, chat. I'm not that mean. I don't bite. I guess sometimes I do. Don't be scared. Oh, that's a good one.
Oh yeah, that's just erase the Fox News.
Yeah, we obviously no Macaulay Culkin either. I don't think because that's going to be distracting. It's going to be too distracting. But I think just yeah. Hold on, I'll try this. Let's see here. Copy image. If I just go like this. Now, what's that? What's this? Actually, you know what? I do think I want more of the background.
The groceries, yeah.
Yeah, you can see the groceries. Well, okay, 248 since 1990. And that's not right. Because what is it?
No, well, I don't know, but the 248?
Yeah, the 248% I'm not crazy about.
Well, what is do the math? What is it from 22 to 23 in 1 year? That's not over 200%. No
way it is. Let's see, 72, 28 minus
2020 to 2024.
So 88% increase. Or hold on. Divided by 44.4. It's a 63% increase in 1 year, though. Here's what I think we should do. Let's take these And I'm going to make my own stock photo. I will take that. And next
During the
I
last
will.
federal election, food inflation was just running at 3.9% annually. Fast forward to March 24. The latest data showed food prices have risen a whopping 25.8% since then. A basket of groceries that cost $100 in November 2020 would now set you back $125.80.
I'm going to go with this picture because it's got the most groceries and the least amount of aisle space. And here's what I think I want to do. We'll just take this, then take this. Okay, make this bigger. Say 1700 maybe? Is that not big enough? Yeah, bigger. 2500. I say bigger. Shazam. And now you gotta shrink this to some size that will kind of be right for the thing. Let's see here. How's that? How'd I do? Not good. Let's see. Maybe make this half the width. 800. Reasonable. Reasonable. I could make it a little smaller, or I could make it work like this. I think, tell you what, I'll leave this here for now. This should go under images. Or no, images. Sorry, I'm playing with my layers here, making sure my layers are in the right place. And let me go back to the text and see what it is I still want to say in the text. Because the one thing we haven't said yet that I think is I mentioned this on the stream the other day. The thing I think is a really powerful statistic is that we are now paying double what we paid 2.5 years ago interest on the national debt. And all of our tax money is now going to pay interest on the debt, not for buying anything for anybody. There's got to be some way to say that tersely. And also, I got away from the original thing I was saying. Remember, I said every American family knows blah blah blah. But then also, did you know this? And we didn't even get to that. So maybe this should come down. This should be where I say the bit about the national debt. But I don't want to say, but did you know? Because we haven't done a talking directly to the audience thing yet anywhere, and that would be inconsistent. So maybe but how many people know that we pay double what we paid 2.5 years ago? Less than 3 years ago. In interest on the national debt. We paid double I feel like I want to say more there, but I also want to make sure we can make this all fit. So let's see. I think with this picture, let's make it a little bit smaller so I can fit this on its own line. As I'll do, I'll just crop the picture a bit. So Canvas size 800 by 450. And then see, take this out, put this in. Well, that fits even better. Okay, well, let's put it down in the corner. And let's go back to the text. See how much space I got to work with here. Selection must be defloated. Okay, fine, defloat it and see if I care. All right. That's space. Come on. All right. It's not just the price of. Okay, well, this is really squeezing the text. So let's see how we do here. This might be a problem.
You got to get goods on the top page. Well, maybe not. Let's see what happens.
Biden-Harris regime effectively looted our life savings. To feed their insatiable need for more spending. That actually
Look at that.
fits pretty well. Let's
You got to fix that. Yeah, okay. Underline.
I think we should all actually, I think we should also say, and it's not just the value of the dollar. It's not just the price of the goods, it's the value of the dollar. Okay, now going back to this sentence, but how many people know that we paid double what we paid less than 3 years ago? In interest on the national debt. I wish I could say more to explain what that means.
And just interest or only interest, something just, It's not only that we're paying double. All we're not paying any principal down right now. We're only paying interest, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the principal keeps increasing. That's why the interest has doubled.
Yeah.
How many people know we pay double in taxes what we paid less than? Let's remind people it's taxes. Double in taxes what we paid less than just the national debt. Dan Lawless says maybe something simple that interest payments to the national debt now exceeds defense spending. Yeah, absolutely. Except we're so tight on space that even that's not that simple. Like that's almost. What do I cut here to make that analogy fit?
How many people know that we pay that? How many people know that interest payments on the national, like get rid of what you have there at all?
But I think the doubling in 2.5 years is a great point though too. It's doubled under. I mean, that's the thing, because people can, like, I've heard people say, I've heard my mother, Democrats say, oh, every president's raised the national debt. Everyone's raised the national debt. Doubled the national debt. That's a thing. That's a big thing. Like that's a point I wouldn't want to miss out on.
Yeah, except Trump raised that a lot. He spent a lot too.
Did he double it? Did he more than double it? Maybe he did. I don't know.
I think he did.
Yeah, probably. Well, anyway.
Well, I would put a note though and write Lawless's comment down in case you want to go back to it, like save it somewhere.
I'll remember.
Okay. Oh, it'll be in the live stream anyway. You can read it. It'll be in the comments.
Yeah. And actually, as I say this, I also realize I did not say what I just said I said. Because it says we pay double in taxes. It doesn't say the national debt doubled under Biden. So maybe. This takes up a lot of space, but how many people know? So maybe we cut that to say something
Wasn't that your whole point, though, of that?
Well, the contrast, but yeah. But it doesn't have to be. You know, every American family knows that grocery prices got, et cetera. That also stands on its own without being a contrast, doesn't it? So we can just say, maybe on top of that, that might get cut too if that's too much. Put double in taxes. Double in taxes. I'm trying to say double in taxes on interest in the national debt that doubled in just 2 years and 2.5 years or something like that. We paid double. The national debt doubled in the past. Is less than 3 or 2.5 less space? 2.5 versus less than 3. I think less than 3 looks shorter. In less than it kind of should be more recently then. Doubled since more recently, then that sucks. Then the past 3 years, national debt doubled. Okay. Screw all this. Doubled in the last 30 months. What do you think? Is that too confusing a number? 30 months? No, I got a better one. Doubled since 2022. Doubled since 2022. Bingo. Doubled since 2022. We pay double in taxes just on interest. Where's that dash? Dash. Now the biggest tax expense, all wasted. Now our biggest tax expense. How's this sound? On top of that, the national debt doubled since 2022. We paid double in taxes just on interest. Now our biggest tax expense, and all wasted. I don't know. I think we're warmer. Patty, are you still awake?
No, barely. I'm reading about the Teamsters.
Oh yeah, that's bad news bears for the Democrats for sure.
Well, now they're Dana Polanyi.
What's she doing? Threatening the Teamsters?
Michigan Teamsters endorsed Kamala. But now the people are saying, no, it's not. It's like the leaders of the Teamsters 43 joint council.
Yeah.
But so they didn't listen to what their rank and file wanted. I don't know.
No, they didn't. Of course they don't. That's how.
And ahead of
why they repealed right to work.
Like 6 hours ago, the national Teamsters was like, we're not doing anything yet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So help me out with this because I think we're close, but it's still wrong. On top of that, the national debt doubled since 2022. We pay double in taxes just on interest. Now our biggest tax expense at all wasted. Yeah, this is clunky.
I don't know what I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, you could write, I mean, it says inflation and poverty. Do you want to write something about how many people live below the poverty line?
No,
How
because
many
those are
people are
numbers.
going to food
Those-
banks? How many people are on food stamp? I mean, like all those, everything's going up, right?
Yeah, but those are numbers, and numbers are bad.
Oh,
And numbers are disputable. People don't trust numbers because they know every side, messes with statistics and all that. So I don't want to use numbers if I can help it. This is like, I remember saying on stream, I was like, this is the only number I want to use is debt doubled. Interest payments doubled. And what was I trying to say here? Double the taxpayer dollars completely wasted on interest payments. See how that works. Okay. I was going to say Paint Shop Pro took a second there to catch up. Double the. Okay, obviously there's some typos here. Let's fix those.
that needs work. It still needs work, but
I know.
just get your thoughts down and then wordsmith it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Let's just move on. We'll figure this out later. All right. Sorry, folks. This has been a dull stream, I know. 33 of you on YouTube alone are sticking around for this. Wonder how many are watching on other channels. I don't know. Anyway. All right. Boy. Okay. Now for the tough part.
Are you okay? I'm out.
Help me out, chat. How do we do this without saying numbers? How do we do this without saying lots and lots of numbers? I don't know. There's my hyphen. Where'd it go? I don't even know where it went. Oh, it moved over here. Is that where it went? Let's yeah. What have I done? Control Z. I'll work in no play makes Jack a dull boy. We should call it a stream, maybe. It's been almost 2 hours.
Yeah, I think you should.
I think I should work on this more off stream. We can come back. Maybe I'll work on this side. I'll work on this side, the other side, side 2. I'll do this for a while. I'll stay up late tonight, work on this some more. And then maybe we'll do another stream tomorrow. That's kind of the polishing, finishing touches. What do you think about this? How would you change that? Yada, yada, yada kind of deal. How about that? We'll do that.
Well, I have a candidate forum tomorrow, so I will be unavailable.
Well, maybe somebody else will help me out.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That will, I guess, do it for us for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in, though. This is how the creative process works, and I certainly encourage you all to give it a try. Make your own flyer, speak with your own voice. But you see, we put a lot of thought into how we make this look good and be something that's going to resonate with people. So
yeah, I do this all the time with Lisa Kapatna.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. It is a practice. It's like anything else, I writing took me years and years and years to get any good at, and you still gotta try. You gotta start someplace. So, all right, guys, thanks for joining. Patty, thanks for joining me on stream, and we'll do this again soon.
All right.
Good night, guys. See ya.